Today's quiz involves challenging your students to find a sequence. Here we've got colors of dots, and we're asking them if they can figure out this pattern. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm going to give the students a chance to look at this and see what they can do. We can offer hints as we go. Let me hold this a little closer. As always, we want them to write all over this so they can put down their ideas. Let's see if they can name this famous sequence. Typical student responses usually end up trying to equate a color with maybe a number. And that's important because what is mathematics? It's a symbolic system of representations of ideas. So if your students are struggling, you can say, yes, it has something to do with numbers, and we're looking for a way to sequence. So some of our students are going to right away say, I bet you these green dots are going to represent one value, and maybe the others are going to represent other values. Keep pushing them along and let them write down whatever they can. Give them a little bit of time. Every grade's going to be a little bit different. And by the way, teachers, I understand you might not have a color printer, color chalk. You can also make this using different kinds of patterns like grayscale or something like that. Again, just try to get them to write down their ideas to the best of their ability. Hopefully they're going to enjoy this. As students are thinking through this, they might get stuck. Help them out and say, okay, look, I just chose green, and I hope this green is showing up. We've got green, red, and blue. I'm just going to use black from here on out. But let's say you say, well, maybe this is too confusing. Ask them, could you use your own symbols for this to represent things? Maybe instead of that green dot, maybe I could put a line. Then they might say, well, of course, the next line would be, well, 2 lines. And the next line would be 3 lines. Get them thinking. Now they're going to think, oh, is that a 11 and 111? Just let them think. Now, as they go along, you might want to be a little bit coy and say, well, what about the other symbols? And they said, or they might say, well, I don't exactly know what that is. You might say, well, maybe we use blue. In algebra, if we don't know things, maybe we can just use X. So maybe blue would be X. See if that's enough of a hint to push them along. All right, hopefully as a teacher you're good at pushing your students, and you might help them. Let's just give the overall explanation now. And you might say, well, look, we've got this sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe we can just give another symbol for 5, and maybe we'll just make that a V-looking symbol, and maybe we could even start to put little hats and bases on these, and they might begin to recognize that, of course, we're talking about the Roman numeral system, right? And remember, a lot of people think that, oh, I have to use Roman numerals as the representations that they've given us. But remember, this sequence is an idea of adding things up. So in this case, we're going to end up having, I guess I need my green, if my green is still working. We would end up having our, oh, no, I don't need green, I'm using black. So I'll end up saying I can have my I, and then I can have my V. And here that's going to be 4, and then I can end up doing our 6, just like this. And so on. So I would end up having, really, we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And that would be our V, and then I could do 8, which is going to end up being, then I can end up having our 9, so it would be I, and then we introduce our X here, And then I can have 11 and so on. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. Hopefully your students will enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. And it doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong. It's about playing with numbers and understanding that math is a set of ideas that we use representations to help us do more advanced things. All right, that's your quiz for today.